Right, we are live, so I'm not going to do the whole welcome thing because I just look like a toss because no one's on. So I'm going to wait for people to come.
You feel lighter on your feet.
I do feel light on my feet because I lightened the load before I came on here. That's why we were nearly late.
I
But
love
I've
it.
made it.
So which way? This way. This oak sends me a voice note while he's going, "Ooh, Don, I'm going to send you the link for the lab." It
Don,
sounded like you offloaded a truck there, buddy.
I was on there and eventually I lost track of time. And then I was like, well, this is not ending. We're going on soon. Let me just give this guy a heads up. But if I'd waited, yeah, anyway, yeah, Robert, Rob, and a slightly lighter Rob and a Don are here, and yeah, people already checking in: Warwick Evans, Carl Swanson, Hugo Fanikak, Amy Pretorius, Stephen Kalgogogogogoxi, Stephen Coy as we call him, Sam Greenwood, Dylan Thomas. Been waiting anxiously for today's meeting. Yeah, Don, I hope you, like I said, I'm a little bit dehydrated now, which I might leave for a glass of water after this, but I hope you're well nourished in it because we have got, like, for the first time, I actually made notes. That's how busy we're going to be tonight. So everybody, make yourselves comfortable. Reno, hello boys, hello Reno. Make yourself comfortable because we have got a lot to talk about tonight. Yeah, Don's got his funny mug. What is on there, Minion?
I don't even know. I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, I think it's a smiley face. It's a Moto.
Oh, it's an emoji. It's an emoji.
Emoji. There we go. There's a cat over here if you want. That's better. Hang on. Wait. It's yeah. Okay. Typical cat. As soon as you point a camera at it, it pisses off.
It runs away. It runs away. So, Don, I think we all want to get straight into the magnificent Mr. Binder. Let's just, before we get there, let's touch upon the news that literally broke today. There's two big stories that broke today. First, it kind of broke before the weekend as well and was confirmed today, but we've touched upon Maverick Vinales and his mental instability, and that kind of showed with the video that came out before this weekend where he got suspended by Yamaha when he was trying to break an M1 race bike. And then today's signing for Aprilia. Give me your thoughts on this.
Okay, so just to kind of catch everyone up, Maverick Vinales was suspended by Yamaha for this weekend. We're still yet to hear what's going to happen in the future. I mean, is Yamaha going to keep him or what, for the rest of the year, or are they going to replace him and tell him to piss off? I don't know. But it happened after it emerged that, you remember last weekend he stalled on the grid. I think he accused his team of actually sabotaging his motorbike and all kinds of stuff, which is all bullcrap. You know what I mean? It's just, come now, your team hates you that much they would actually like fidget your clutch so that you stall it. What? It was all ridiculous. But anyway, it turns out they had video footage of him holding his bike on the rev limiter. Now, it's not like a flippin' check my jigsaw at a rally where you can hold it on the rev limiter while doping brandy and coke for 3 hours. MotoGP machines do not like to be held on a rev limiter. Do you remember there was that one time at Mugello where two Yamaha motors blew up? It was Rossi and Lorenzo blew up, or Vinales, Lorenzo, someone, because they were actually coming over that rise at Mugello, and the back wheel was actually getting light and spinning, and it was hitting the rev limiter slightly, just slightly. And two motors blew because it hit the rev limiter slightly in top gear. Now you can just imagine what holding it on the rev limiter does to a tuned motor like that. Anyway, it turns out that's what he was doing. So Vinales was suspended, and you know what Aprilia said? The Italian version of lacquer, because now with Vinales' name completely muck, they can hire a top class rider and just pay him in leftover pasta like they were planning.
But do you think they would be happy after seeing that? Would you still be 100% happy at your decision to take on this very insecure and unstable Vinales? I mean, on the Friday practice, he posts a thing: the truth will come out soon. You'll hear my side of the story. The next day, he's apologizing to you. He's just this
limberest apology I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's all over the place. I don't know if I would be completely happy because. What, is he going to climb on this Aprilia and go, yes, you've got a great machine, I love life? No, there's hard work there.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. What is Aprilia's alternative?
Yeah, no, you're right. I understand that, but
Dovi is busy out there windsurfing and he doesn't care. I think he's over it.
Yeah, no, he won't come. We spoke about it. He won't come back.
Yeah, Dovi just sounds like he's over it. I mean, he had apparently he had the option of doing a wild card in the Aprilia. And he was like, nah, I'm on holiday. So I think he's over it. So what else does Aprilia do? I mean, is there a better option? I mean, you've got Vinales, but I mean, they had Iannone there, for crying out loud. How bad can Vinales be?
They do. They get the scraps.
No
At the
problem. Little spoiled Spanish kid. Bring him. It's fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, what is Aprilia? What's better for Aprilia? They have. I mean, Vinales is, for the most part, a top class rider. He is good. The dude can ride a motorbike. He has his problems, but is there a better rider than Vinales for Aprilia? Think about it.
No, I get that side, but if you can't make the bike that's leading the championship, that is the easiest bike to ride, that is the best all-round package probably now, if you can't make that work, I don't know. Yeah, he, like the commentators were saying, he needs some management or someone that cares about him to grip him and say, listen, we forget the Oak's like 25 or 26, he's Brad's age. And when I was watching all of this, I remember, I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago, Moto 3, he was riding for some team and he also just didn't rock up to the one race. And he just said, oh, no, I'm not going to race for you guys. And then it was this whole apology thing. So he's had this kind of trait throughout his whole career. And Aprilia, if they really want to make this work, I would go hire a head doctor and say, this guy, Maverick, this guy is following you wherever you go, because we're going to spend this money on you, but we're spending this money on your talent. We've got to now sort out the mental side. If they can get that right, I 100% agree that Maverick on his day is one of the fastest in that. But he's got to, I mean, this is pathetic. That was pathetic. That was so, like you said, even his apology and that afterwards, and the whole way he acted, standing on the side of the track with his Monster Energy kit on, and it was just a real bad taste. And, us looking from the outside, especially youngsters looking at this, that is where we all dream to be. That is where the Binders looked at wanting to be. Darren Binder must have been looking at that saying, well, you know what? You piss off then and I'll take your bike. How many riders would have said that, Okay, well, you want to blow engines? You know what? I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. Sheridan sent me that video and I was like, no, this is like, I mean, you can't Photoshop videos, but no, this is, they caught him on the limiter once and they've repeated it. But then more and more videos came out and I was like, I cannot believe this guy's doing that. So anyway, that is the big news that came up today. Maverick Vinales has signed for Aprilia. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Don, the other big piece of news that literally came out, half an hour ago, is that Darren Binder will be testing a World Superbike spec R1. Well, I actually don't know if it's a World Superbike spec, but it's a Superbike spec R1 this week at Brno. Now, that whole exercise can only mean one thing.
That Petronas is looking at him? Well, hang on. I said Petronas. Sorry. Hang on. Wait. No. Team SRT, formerly known as Petronas.
I was going to say, we didn't even touch upon that news that also broke.
What a bugger up. I mean, okay. Shall we just lay right into it right now? So SRT's having fun. Morbidelli's moving on. Rossi's retiring. They need 2 riders, and then their sponsor disappears. Just suddenly announces, sorry. So, and this is like, we were so happy when Darren first signed for Petronas. We're like, yeah, awesome. He's got this team, and he's got Moto 3 and Moto 2 and MotoGP. It's the perfect thing. He's on his way up, and then next thing, Petronas pulls out, and they're canning their Moto 3, they're canning their Moto 2 projects. And now they're going to an independent, what's it called, MotoGP team. And there's people saying not even SRT. I don't even know what it's going to be called. No one knows. They're going to find a
sponsor's going to be
coming together, borrow some pasta from Aprilia. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, Petronas is in an absolute pickle. Darren's also in a bit of a pickle because now his sort of red carpet through the ranks of Moto 2 to MotoGP is now gone, with the same team. He's going to have to now actually go to Moto 2, find another team. Except that Petronas, who are out of options, I mean, who are you going to put on that seat? I was thinking, okay, I'm going to keep saying Petronas because it's kind of in my, you know what I mean. Yeah. Petronas, so they're kind of stuck now. I mean, who do they put on their bike? They've got 2 open spots. All the top riders are kind of gone. Raul Fernandez and Remy Gardner are both going to KTM or Tech 3. Bezecchi's moving on to Rossi's team. And there's Aaron Canet. I would give him a look. I'd say maybe. He's got something to it. But apart from that, who else? There isn't really anybody. So, I mean, take a chance on someone like Darren. It is now they're putting him on a world superbike. Well, superbike. And you know what's going to happen? Okay, he's going to ride that superbike. He's going to do well. They're going to hire him for the MotoGP team. He's going to do well. He's going to move on to a factory team. And when he's making his speech after winning his 10th title, surpassing Rossi, Marquez, absolutely everybody's going to say, you know, one man I have to thank. It's my Uncle Rob.
Yeah.
He took me to Kyle Army once and he said, do you want to ride my fancy Ducati Panigale V4R? And I climbed on and I did a bunch of laps and I got the swing of it. So when I climbed on a World Superbike R1, I was already clued up. And because of that, I got given a chance. So that's 10 world titles for me. I'm going to give half of all my earnings to Uncle Rob, who's going to give a bit of it to Donovan because he's a good oak. You know what I mean?
I can't wait. I can't wait.
That is what's going to happen.
Listen, I mean, we've been talking about this Darren moving up. It's a double-edged sword because Jack Miller came out saying it. A couple of people have said it. You cannot pass up the opportunity to get into MotoGP. It is so cutthroat at the moment that, you know, not even money can necessarily bank you a spot in MotoGP these days. So does Darren take that risk, climb on it, and maybe be an Ikalakawona, show good pace, but not quite enough, throw the bike down the road too many times, and then you're left without a ride, potentially going to World Superbikes? Or does he say, thanks, but no thanks, I want to do the Moto 2 route? Because, let me tell you why, the Moto 2 route, now that it's a 765 Triumphs and that, if you look at the riders that have come from that class now, it looks like they're so much more prepared for MotoGP than they've ever been before. It's not like, if you look at Brad, Jorge Martin, Jean Mir, Rins, okay, they all did one season in Moto2, but it just seems to get you a lot more prepared for MotoGP than before. So, you know, when Miller skipped the 600 Moto2 era, you know, maybe was he missing out on that much? There wasn't much between a Moto3 and a Moto2 back then, to be honest. Now there's this bigger gap. So we were talking before we came on air, Don, and you had a couple of scenarios. So take us through those. Look, I've been told by some people that are very close to the whole thing that if he does sign, it will be on Morbidelli's better spec M1 that Morbidelli's riding this year. So it won't be the really old bike, which it seems to be a really good package. I think it's a podium package potentially this year. I don't know what's going to happen next year with development and that. But does he say, cool, I'm going to MotoGP and I'm going to have one shot at this anyway? Probably. Let me try and make it work now. Or does he do that? Thanks, but no thanks. Let me prove myself in Moto2. Let me win Moto2, something Brad couldn't do, and earn my stripes that way.
Okay, so as you said, we were talking before, two scenarios. You've got Jack Miller and Gary McCoy, who both made the jump. I mean, McCoy was back in the 125 500 days. He went straight up to 500, won a bunch of races, including Velkup. You remember Pekisa?
Yeah.
Skidded around Pekisa sideways on every lap. It was spectacular. He's still my hero for life. Then, okay, Jack Miller. I mean, he's now on a works ride, multiple race winner. And it was actually more difficult for him because he got given one of those CRT customer bike things. Remember those pieces of crap they used to race? So, yeah, and Miller made it. On the other hand, as you said, Lukawona, you go there and, you go up to MotoGP, you don't quite get it right. And then what? You're kind of stuck. So that can happen. On the other hand, going to Moto2 is risky too. I mean, think of, there's a fellow named Lorenzo Della Porta. Does anyone remember him? I mean, like 2 years ago, he completely dominated the Moto3 championship, won it by miles, and where's he now? Went to Moto2. And the thing is, Moto2 is finicky. It can go both ways. You can end up on a team, especially now because Darren has not got like a clear path. He's going to have to find a spot on a decent team, and he might not. And then the team doesn't quite work. And because Moto2 bikes are so similar, they're very finicky. Every little bit makes a big difference. So if you've got a team that's not good, or you can't gel with the bike, you can't gel with the team, you can end up at a Della Porta just finishing nowhere, and then that's it. Your career's over anyway. At least if you go to MotoGP, it's with a decent enough team because all the teams are pretty decent, and you make a name for yourself. I mean, you do. I mean, Lekuona, if he just stayed in Moto2 and finished mid-pack, he'd be nowhere. At least now he is a MotoGP rider. He will get World Superbike rides. He won't just sort of disappear into sort of the oblivion. Also, going to MotoGP, I mean, it's not the end of the world. If it doesn't quite work, then you go back into Moto2 and you can win there too. You can still look at Sam Lowe's. I think didn't Tony Elias do that also? He he was on MotoGP, went back, won a Moto2 championship. Okay, then he went back to MotoGP and sucked. But you know what I mean? It's not necessarily a death sentence. You can go to MotoGP, but I mean, when you're in MotoGP, people notice you. They see you. You know, hey, wow, MotoGP. So even if you do screw it up, it's not the end of the road. It can still go places. So yeah, I say go for it. Definitely go for it.
Yeah, everyone down the side here, Travis Poussin, Reno, a lot of people saying also, you know, you can't. It's too much of a good opportunity to pass up. And I do agree with that. I do agree with that. And a lot of people saying, you know, the Mark VDS seats could be potentially up, and this seat in Moto2, there will be a good. I'm pretty sure Carmen Fisher also says go to MotoGP. There will be a lot of Moto2 teams now that this announcement with Petronas has come out knocking on Darren's door, because he has proved that he is ridiculously fast. He's got the pace. He's got a bit more maturity about him now. I think the race 2 weeks ago now in Spielberg, where he had slicks on in the wet, I think that, you know, rose a lot of eyebrows with a lot of teams saying, you know what, this kid's got some real talent and maturity to him now. So I do. It's still a double-edged sword, but if my gut would say to him, Darren, you know what, like you said, take the MotoGP ride. Whatever happens, you can say, I went to MotoGP and I did it. So I think go that route.
Yeah, the other thing we got to consider. I mean, Leclerc I think he was either 19 or 20 when he got moved up. He was young. You know what I mean? And not that experienced. Not like Quartararo, who'd spent 50 years in CEV and then 50 years in Moto3 and Moto2 and everything. And by the time he went up to MotoGP, you know, he was a similar kind of age, but just a lot more kind of miles under his belt. Whereas Darren has tons. He's 23. He's got tons of mileage under his belt. He sort of has a more mature outlook on this. I think he'd be in a better spot than Leclerc to adapt to a MotoGP bike. And also, I mean, I was looking, Darren, he needs to get off that bloody Moto3. I mean, I'm surprised. To be honest with you, before we went into Red Bull, I mean, we don't know. The first weekend, we don't know it was raining, so we don't know quite what would have happened. But I didn't expect him to do well at Red Bull. I really didn't. Simple reason, it's a lot of accelerating from tight corners, and when you're a heavy guy, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Where's Stephen and Travis? Guys, tell me, is Pedro Costa, is he heavier than Darren? I actually meant to look it up, but I just realized I completely forgot. Because something I was wondering, because Costa's quite a heavy guy too. And if he's a similar weight to Darren, then he is a really, really, really good rider. You know
I saw a picture of I saw a picture of Darren with McPhee, Vieja, and Jake Dixon all standing together. And I mean, Darren's the tallest out of those riders by miles. So yeah, answer that question.
He's not. So no, he's not heavier, or
no. Let me just tell. So we've got all our diehard Talking MotoGP fans watching tonight. Okay. These are the guys and girls that we actually got good. We got 566 at the moment watching us, so it's actually more than usual. And we're obviously going to talk
emoji for you.
Android emoji. We're gonna talk about the magnificent Brad Binder. Okay.
We're going to save that to last because we've done this before.
No. But what I want to do, I haven't even told you, and I thought I like to surprise Motor Rider World fans, because without them, I am nothing. Without your fans, we are nothing. So I thought I would get a surprise guest just to give us some more insight into Brad's performance this weekend. Don doesn't even know about this. I haven't said this to anyone, but I'm very pleased. I'm very, very pleased. And we only have him for a short while, so we can't blab on, okay? But I'm very pleased. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time MotoGP winner, with the biggest balls on the entire planet.
Bloody hell. How's it, mate? How you doing?
I'm well, thanks to yourself.
Of course you're bloody well. You just won a MotoGP race. How can you not be well? Seriously.
Look, the last couple of days have been pretty good. Long day traveling today, but came back, got some riding in this afternoon. And now just got back about half an hour ago. So quick shower and straight to the show.
So when I phoned Brad this afternoon, we were talking about beautiful South Africa and stuff, and he said, let me tell you, Uncle, it's actually not that bad. I've been sitting in traffic for about 14 days trying to get back into Andorra, where he lives, because there was a traffic jam. There's like one single old goat path leading back into Andorra, basically. So then I just said, yeah, if you can tune in tonight, that'll be great. And he said, I'm going trials riding, and I'll see. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Brad. So we've got him. Don, you can't ask 16 million of your question, Mr. Fanboy. We've got him for a little bit.
I've only got one question. Next year, you're going to have to change your number to 33,333 for Big Brass Balls Brad Binder. That's what you do.
Yeah, look, I think we need to keep it a bit shorter than that. But that would be quite cool. I quite like the way you know the full number already.
Buddy, I've got your whole future planned out for you. It's all sorted. Okay, don't worry about a thing.
So, Brad, I'm gonna ask the first question here. It literally is a couple of questions. Everyone's just saying they can't believe it. Hello, Brad. Well done. We love you. Show us a picture of your balls and all that kind of stuff, but we're not going to go there. So, just Brad, from your side, take us through your race day. How the race was going before it rained, when it rained, how the feeling was. If it didn't rain, do you think you would have been in the fight for the podium? Everyone's asking about your front tire. Did it delaminate? Tell us your race day feel.
Well, the race day was a little bit weird because Austria is such a mountainous little place, especially around the track, that the weather changes in a couple of minutes. It can go from sunshine to hailing, which we saw before FP2 on Friday. And warm up was pretty good. It wasn't a normal warm up for me. I actually cut the session in half, and I tried a few setup changes. Sorry, my phone had a little slip there. But yeah, so the main thing I wanted to try was we were looking for a little bit of extra traction, getting off the small corners. That's what was really hurting us all weekend, is we were losing out of the small corners, and it was just we were losing time, especially from turn 1 to 3 and then 3 to 4. So there's not much you can do when you're up straight and just not quite driving. So we tried a couple things in warm up, and even after you putting in a fresh tire, coming in, stopping, doing a setup change, I was able to go quicker. So that was really cool, and I was really confident then going into the race. On the grid, it was a little bit hectic. It was literally spitting a rain from the second we stopped. We actually did one extra warm-up lap while the pit lane was open to scrub our wets in case we needed them. And we were all convinced it was going to rain at some point. We just weren't sure when. And it literally was spitting a rain most of the race until 5 laps to go, where it really, really started bucketing down.
I only have one question.
Yeah, okay, one question. Well, okay, you hang on, one question. Bloody hell. Jeez, like, I can tell your voice is busy going. This is probably your 5 millionth interview, is it not?
I've done a bit of talking lately.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right, what people want to know is, right, those last 3 laps, okay, slick tires, no grip whatsoever, no brakes, no anything. I mean, how much did you actually cuck yourself going around the track then? Were there points when you thought, okay, this is not going to happen? And did you have any idea what was going on behind you, especially on that last lap?
Yeah, I mean, it was so sketchy. Once I made the decision to stay out, I just caught onto the back of that group because the guys, I could see they were a little bit unsure of how much rain there was, So I used that as an opportunity to really close that gap, because the second half of the race, I felt like I started to come into my own once I got past Jack, and then I started to catch Mia, and that whole group were just joined into one. A couple laps, a lap or so just before the rain started, and it was super exciting when I saw that I could see the group and I was coming closer, because I just needed to have a chance to try and fight with the guys, because back where I was, there was no ways of getting there. But I took a lot of risk in some of the braking zones where I wasn't sure if it was damp yet or if it was still quite dry. And luckily it was quite dry still. So yeah, I managed to close up a lot of time there. And as soon as I got close to the guys, I saw a couple guys put their hands up, and I just decided that wasn't quite sure if I should go in yet or not. And when I saw everyone duck into the pits, I just pretty much worked out, okay, 5 laps to go. I think I can make it work, and just put my head down and went for it. The first lap was fine, had no problems. That was quite a good lap. I still did a decent lap time. Second lap, it started raining a lot. Then I just started spinning. So then it was a big problem to get out the corner. So I wasn't able to win time in the straights anymore because it was just spinning up straight. So I wasn't able to gain anywhere really because I couldn't brake, couldn't really. You can't turn on slicks in the rain. Well, you can, but not very fast, and couldn't get down the straights anymore. So, yeah, the second last lap I got around quite clean. It was a little bit better than I expected, but on the last lap, I think any little bit of temperature I had left in my tires was gone, and the water started to come up a lot. So it was just ice. No, literally the only way I was stopping going into the corners was the engine brake, and even the engine brake wanted to flick me off because it was going sideways just with the
There's a photo of you going looking like almost locked sideways going into a corner, and it's no, dude. What?
Yeah, I hit the steering lock a couple times on the last lap, and it's so scary because you're not doing anything to make the bike slide. You know, you're literally just trying to stay up straight. So to be honest, I don't know how it's managed to stay up and to cross the line and have the feeling to win again was amazing. You know, it's been a year and a week actually since I last won a Grand Prix. So I don't know when last I went that long without even finishing on the podium. So it was a tough time for me. I've had really I almost wasn't enjoying my racing at the last 2-3 races before the mid-season break because I was just trying way too hard, and then I really used the mid-season just to calm down a little bit and just start from scratch and take it easy, and it worked for me. So just started to enjoy my riding a bit more, and everything got a lot better from there.
Well, you did say, I mean, similar to your Moto 2 career. Where
One question, Don. One question.
This is part get over yourself. No, but you did say previously when we chatted that your MotoGP career is similar to your Moto 2 in a way, where the second year was a bit kind of puzzling. You know, there was a bit of stuff to kind of figure out. But yeah, we're all confident you will figure it out. You're that kind of guy, you know. We all have all the faith in the world in you, and you're number 33,333 from now. Get over it, okay? It's happening. I've had the stickers made already.
That was cool. It was super cool. You know, it was difficult, but it was so nice to get another win. But you know, it's one of those things. It was a special situation, so we're going to have to go and do it again in normal conditions too. So my goal from here on out is I just want to try and fight amongst that top 3 as much as I can, and start to try and bring the consistency to always be in that top 5 wherever we go.
Awesome.
Well, Brad, let me tell you, dude. Well, first of all, arse face, what don't you understand about not exceeding track limits on the last lap?
The last corner, seriously, what's wrong with you?
Maybe I don't understand about not having any brakes.
No, listen. I saw that and I thought, if race stewards hit him with something here, I'm going to lose my shit. And Red Bull track down. So I'm glad that never happened. Before we let you go, because I know it does take you a very long time to shave your balls now that we know how big they are. Give us a quick last question. What is your take on Darren with this whole MotoGP ride? Does he take it? Does he not take it?
You know, I think if the opportunity is there, you've got to take it. There's not many people in the world that get offered or have a chance to step up into MotoGP. and it's not something that you can say no to for sure. So who knows at the moment if it's will become a reality or not, but yeah, I think I'd really, well, I don't think, I know I'd really enjoy having my brother on the grid with me. And it will be tough. I mean, you've got a lot to learn for sure. Coming off that little Moto 3 straight onto the big bike, it won't be easy. But if anybody could do it, it's definitely Darren. He's got the size for it. He's more than strong enough. And he's a real fighter. So that's the main thing. I think in MotoGP, that's the one thing that can take you a long way. And I believe he'll get it right. I just hope the opportunity comes through and it all goes through clean.
Awesome.
Brad, dude, thank you so much. I'm going to try and attempt to stand up because I have to give you a standing ovation, and I think everyone needs to stand up and give you I can't clap on the laptop. I'll try and yay. Where's it? Yay. No, dude, well done. You sensational. I was speechless. You are my hero. You are fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. Go and enjoy the rest of the night off, and just keep doing what you're doing, and just know that we are all behind you. In those times where you think it's tough, you don't think you're good enough, just know that Uncle Rob and the 16 billion people here right now love you, and we believe in you, and we can't wait to see both Binder brothers on the MotoGP grid. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Uncle Rob. Thanks, Don, for having me on the show again. Always appreciate it, and I just want to use this opportunity to say thank you to everyone watching. The amount of support I have is insane. Thank you to everybody for all the messages and all the supports. It's overwhelming to see how many people I have behind me and really supporting and watching what's going on every weekend so closely. And I really hope to bring you guys many more wins this season. I'm definitely going to try.
We're behind you no matter what, buddy. You can do it. You got this.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll see you at the end of the year for a meet and greet if all things go well. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll chat to you again before then. Thanks again, dude. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks so much, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, bro. How's that? I didn't even tell you.
Now, what's the point of carrying on? It's like there's a bunch of other crap we want to speak to, but no one's interested anymore.
My whole list has been destroyed.
It's gone now. It's like, we may as well just sit here and twiddle our thumbs. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, a lot of people commented here, and a lot of people on my Facebook also asked me how am I doing, because the last time Brad won, I nearly put my head through a TV and fell over the couch and overcome with emotion. This time, my father-in-law is back from Mauritius, so he was sitting watching it with me. So I kept wanting to just explode, but I was like, okay, act cool in front of the father-in-law, don't you married his daughter, he doesn't want to think he's, I'm psycho or anything. But anyway, I kept my cool. But hey, Don, I mean, I watched him when the other riders pulled in. I thought, brilliant, Brad, well done, excellent decision. And then I kept saying, why is he making these mistakes go? Because I don't know about you, but I couldn't see how hard it was actually raining until the slow motion right at the end of the race. Then I was like, holy shit. How did that guy get that bike around that track? You don't even think about carbon brakes. I mean, you've ridden a bike, Don, with carbon brakes with no heat. It is like pulling a brick.
No, it's you know what? It's weird because you feel the pressure on the lever, but a bike just doesn't stop. You know what I mean? There's nothing. You know what I mean? And even worse, that then if the brakes do suddenly start heating up, you suddenly out of nowhere get, you know what I mean? Which is the last thing you want, especially on a wet circuit. So, but I'm just looking. I mean, they were doing 1:24 most of the time in the dry. Brad's last lap was a 1:50.
Yeah.
So he literally lost 26 seconds. I mean, if you know anything about Grand Prix racing, 26 seconds is an age.
Yeah.
To lose 26 seconds around a track. By the way, I'm just going to add some more things. I mean, it's one thing saying Brad stayed out and, there were people who are like, oh, he's just lucky he chose the right way. And I mean, to an extent, maybe if there were one more lap, he would have been caught, simple as that. But just to consider other things. When he first stayed out and he crossed the line, he had Aleix, so he was leading. Everyone else went into the pits. Aleix Spargo on the Aprilia was behind him. He was 1.7 seconds behind Brad when they crossed the line first time out after everybody pitted for wets. 3 laps later, from 1.7 seconds, Aleix Spargo was 21.2 seconds. You know what I mean? Brad gained in 3 laps, nearly 20 seconds on Aleix Spargo. Other things, okay, the second fastest in the way on slick tires. I'm not including the wussy, the Nancy boy guys who pulled it for wet tires. What a bunch of banter! Seriously. Luca Marini was 10 seconds behind him when he stayed out on dry. Now Luca finished, I think, 5th. He was the second fastest out of the slick riders. He was 10 seconds behind when they first stayed out. 3 laps later, he was 17 seconds behind. I mean, Brad pulled 7 seconds on Luca Marini in 3 laps. It's more than just big brave balls staying out on slicks. He was fast on slicks. You know what I mean? If he had kept the pace of Aleix Spargo, he would have been overtaken.
He would have lost it.
He would have lost it. So he still had to haul ass with slicks on and no brakes. It's just wow.
Let me tell you, hey, when I was helping train them a little bit growing up, I remember Trevor's just that all out, and he really is that fortune favors the brave kind of guy. He really is that kind. He's always said it to me, and I think that's something certainly that I lacked in my racing career compared to the share. I mean, I raced Chez's, the Brads, and those guys all made it because they just were willing to take that risk. Some riders I wasn't willing, and I remember a couple of times I used to say to Trevor, but I understand that, but at the same time, there's a bit of skill to this. You've got to weigh options, fortune favors, and stupid Rob. I mean, like Chris Williams said, you make your own luck, and for Brad to make that decision at that level, and I love what he said afterwards. If I pulled in the pits, put wets on, I could have maybe got 5th in front of my home crowd, nothing to lose. I'm not going for 5th. I want to win races, and like you said, explaining it the way you just did just sums it up to perfection. He did not just win that race because he stayed out. He won that race because he stayed out. He took the risk that no one. I was so surprised that Marc Marquez went in, because Marc's normally the guy that would, especially now out of the championship, needs a car. I thought he would have taken that risk. He goes in, puts wets on, and then crashes.
Sorry, okay, well, Marc, first of all, is really good at jumping off with the one bike straight onto a wet weather bike and going fast immediately. So
yes.
If he hadn't fallen, I think he would have finished second in that race. He's very good at that. You know what I mean? So I do think it was in his mind, and he was right that everybody kind of followed him except one guy. So I do think Marquez did the right thing. For tactically, it was kind of the safe decision. I mean, I actually think well done to him. He did the right thing. Just a quick little side note. Old Jorge Martin, did you see his rider change? Holy actual crap. What the hell was that?
Nearly hit out of the tank.
He stopped the bike up to the mechanic, jumped off while the back wheel was in the air. The mechanic had to catch the front of his bike, and he dived onto the second bike. I mean, we always said Marquez was great at these rider changes. Sorry, that was wow. How did he not kill a mechanic? What the?
When your luck's going for you, your luck's going for you, and he proved it. So, before that, I was quite happy to see. I mean, someone comment Vaughan Richardson 93 is done, laugh out loud. I know it's like a joke kind of thing, but I was really impressed with Marc. Look, I think because Marc was the only guy I think to go on a hard front and a soft rear, and I think that helped his cause. Because if I look back at all of his domination years, it was a hard front and a soft rear, and he hasn't been able to run a soft rear. I don't know if it's track conditions or weather, but I don't know if he got the Michelin softs were just able to use all those years back, and now you very rarely see any rider use a soft rear in race conditions. So I think they found something, because I mean, he would have made it to the end with that soft tire. His pace was good compared to the weekend before. So I was quite happy to see Marc running up there again. I think the race was brilliant. I loved Quartararo's around the outside move on the brakes in turn 3. Listen, that guy needs a big shout out. Quartararo is brilliant at the moment. I am really a Quartararo fan. Things didn't go his way. He lost out big time with the wet net. He didn't go in the pits crying. He didn't go to the media afterwards crying. The kid, again, I take my hat off to Quartararo. He's looking more and more like the finished article.
Yeah, he did look a little bit annoyed, but it's fine. But no,
You
I
saw
mean,
it
let's
before
keep in mind.
Before he would cry and he would make the cameras, bring the satellites to him, and so everyone could see. Now of course you're going to be upset, but he kept it, and you know what? That is a big step forward to me compared to the previous Maverick. I mean, Fabio. Not Maverick.
Maverick. Let's keep in mind that the Yamaha is very crap around Red Bull. It's remember the Yamaha inline. It's flowy corners. I mean, I think it'll do pretty well at Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. But the stop-go tracks, no, Yamaha's never worked. And the way Fabio was riding that thing, I mean, he went around the outside of 2 riders going into turn 3. That was
phenomenal.
I mean, that was phenomenal. He was up there. He was riding it. He wasn't dominating. I don't think he would have won if it stayed dry. I don't think he would have won. I think Mark would have stood a good chance. I think Bagnaia still had a bit in his cage. Mir, okay, he's not as much of a fighter. I would have loved to have seen Mark versus Bagnaia, another kind of Dovi versus Mark showdown. But I think Quartararo is good for like possibly a third, up there, right up behind them. But, the fact that he's doing that on a Yamaha on that track is just wow. It is absolutely wow. And he still did well. He finished pretty well. He got some points. He extended his championship lead. That's really good. And also Brad's up to 6 now. That's bloody marvelous. But keep in mind also with Brad, he was the top KTM throughout the weekend. And also the other thing is I kind of wanted to ask him this question, but, you gave me one, you bastard.
Sorry.
Before the rain came, he was saying that the rear was just sliding everywhere. He was saying he was struggling with grip on the rear. Every time he put on brakes, the rear would step out and he'd go sideways and all this. And we touched upon it last week, the whole Michelin thing, where everything's running really well, and then next thing you put on another tire, go out, and everything just goes to crap. You know what I mean? It's I kind of wonder. I look at the Moto 2 and Moto 3s. They're all on Dunlops. They don't seem to have that sort of problem. Whereas Michelin, it does. I blame Michelin. I don't know. Maybe the tire cooled down too much. Maybe the temperature wasn't there. Maybe it could be lots of other things. But this does seem to happen. I mean, we saw it last week with the red flag scenario where bikes were working perfectly. They put in exactly the same setup, and suddenly the bike doesn't work. So I wonder if that's still not a thing. Oh well.
Yeah, I think that inconsistency is there. Listen, I did speak to Brad a lot today, and he was very accommodating. He said, I'll come on later, if we can, just keep it short, because I'm sure you could see and hear the guy's actually exhausted. So, for him to talk to us. But I did talk to him about the tires, and I did ask, we didn't get to ask it. Yeah, I did ask him about, was it the front delaminating, or was it? And he said, no, the front did, and they still had problems. The new front was slightly better, but he said not really. He said they need a much harder front. The front is just not hard enough. They're pushing it to the limit where it delaminates and everything. And he's just said, we just didn't have, we had the same amount of grip front and rear for that pace. And I think this is what people also forget about the race before, where he came from 16th to 4th. Brilliant ride, phenomenal ride. But it wasn't a case of Brad going faster. It was a case of other riders going slower that put Brad into that opportunity. So Brad and KTM's problem now is still, we've got this package that we can do this lap time for as long as we want. But we have to rely on other riders to go slower for us to be in the mix. And you can't keep holding on to that. That's not going to work. John, I just want to ask you, what did you do when you saw Rossi in 3rd place?
As usual, I was sitting at Fire It Up. We were doing the whole Fire It Up tribe, watching it on there. First of all, the roof exploded. I mean, that place, I've never seen people sitting like this. It's great sitting in sort of a crowd, and you're watching all these people, and he's out on the wets, and the people are coming, and it's so slippery. What's going on? I loved watching that. And the explosion, I mean, the absolute explosion, the whole roof of the building came off when he eventually did cross the finish line. And there's no you notice that after every single MotoGP race, there's a whole lot of arguments about all this and Marquez and Rossi and whatever have you. There was just none. It's just like everybody's like, this is the coolest thing that has ever happened. Rossi was third, but didn't manage to hold it. Imagine he got his 200th podium. Holy crap! Holy crap!
On the podium with Brad.
On the podium with Brad. Okay, people don't get this about. I mean, people are going to chirp me. I know this, but anyway, people don't get this. You saw. Rossi hasn't won a championship in 11 years or something like that now. Did you see he still has a grandstand of people? Grandstand. There were two colors that weekend. They were either orange or yellow in the grounds. That's it. It was orange or yellow. There were a smattering of red and a little bit of here, but it was orange or yellow. And I mean, to stop there 11 years after you've won your last title, you stop and there's still this crowd and they're still applauding you and there was that flag coming down. I mean, that is special. This is someone who's, yeah, he's bigger than MotoGP. I don't care what anyone says. When he leaves, MotoGP will carry on, but that guy is a bigger name than MotoGP. He just is, and we're going to get this every single time. There are rumors now because it looks like Austin's going to be chucked out, and I don't think we're going to go. As a matter of fact, we might not go to any of the flyaway races because Malaysia's getting full of crap also now. So that we might stay. They might do 2 Missanos, and I mean, can you imagine that 2 Missanos, especially the second one? That slowdown lap, and I feel sorry for whoever's going to win the championship this year because that last Valencia race is not going to be about who won the championship. It's going to have nothing to do with whoever won the championship. It's going to be something else.
Well, Don, you're going to hate me when I say this to you, but we kind of booked our tickets, myself and a mate, going to the Portimao and Valencia this year.
I hope you catch fire.
I'll let you know how it goes. I'm so excited, dude. Like when my mate phoned me and said, "Shall we go?" and we phoned the travel agent and we can get in through our British passports this way, and I was like, "We are going!" And yes, I cannot wait. So, Brad, if you're still watching, I need 2 upper passes for that race. I believe I've already asked Rian Neveling from KTM, so we're going to be hooked up. So I'll get you all the scoop. But I did want to say something, Don. So we're doing a very special Rossi edition. I'm sure everyone is. Our next issue of Motor Rider World. Don's doing a 45,000-page story on it. So I was gathering all photos and information today, and I mean, I didn't get emotional like crying in that, but it took me back to those days where I sat and I watched Rossi, and the next race meeting I wanted to have yellow stickers on my bike just like Rossi. I wanted yellow in my leathers, and I just thought, you know what? And 2 weeks ago I was at Short Circuit Racing Open Day at Formula K, and I asked, we're doing these little rider interviews, and I asked all the youngsters, who's your favorite MotoGP rider? There was a Marc Marquez, there was a Brad Binder. Let me tell you, 3 out of the 5 were Valentino Rossi. And I thought, here's kids that probably don't even know who this oak is, but, the parents liked him, but they've already fallen in love with him. I mean, that is, for me, Rossi in a nutshell. Forget all the bad stuff. Like you said, the guy is bigger than MotoGP, and we saw it again on the weekend. The man is, you can't. I don't want to use God status because obviously that's going to open up another can of worms. But the man is just on another level. And when I looked at all those pictures and I went through his history today, I was like, you know what? No one else ever in the history of MotoGP ever again is going to be able to do and say what he did and can say he did.
Well, I find it interesting is you can go to people and say, "Do you like MotoGP?" and they'll go, "Oh, what? Valentino Rossi." Oh, okay, simple. End of story. Zarco said it last weekend when Rossi announced his retirement. They said, "Well, when they're talking to people who don't know anything about bike racing, they're like, 'What do you do?' 'I race motorbikes.'" "Oh, what?" Valentino Rossi." "Oh, okay, simple." What a legend. What else are we doing?
That is. I just want to answer this question from Reno here because it is quite valid. At what point do Michelin go, "No, fix your bike, it's not the tire, only the bike on what WP suspension"? Now, Don, we've touched upon this before. WP suspension, even on the road KTMs, the road bike super, it's harsh. It's a very harsh, rigid, that's where you're going, don't change your line kind of suspension. And I think that is why they need these hard front tires in that. I mean, surely surely at MotoGP at that level, when it's a one-time manufacturer, you've got to cater for all. And what I don't understand is Michelin did last year with a hard front tire, then they took it away.
I heard the whatever his name, Travis or Steven's going to tell me now, the Michelin guy. I heard him say again that 23 or 21 of 22 MotoGP, including the KTM, and even said including the KTM riders voted to get rid of that hard front, and still the KTM riders are going, huh? What? And I wonder what they mean by voted. Were they at were they at Qatar? And it was freezing cold, and then no one liked that hard front, and therefore they go, I don't know, it's just, why would they get rid of it? And you're right, they're gonna have to adapt the bike for the tires, but I mean, adapting the bike is not that easy, and it's more than just WP suspension. It's the whole geometry, the whole entire makeup of the motorcycle is built for a certain way for certain advantages. And the problem is, if they just change the tire, well, it's not that easy. You don't just you've got to now change the whole bike to fit this one tire. And when you're given 2 months, all of a sudden, oh, by the way, we're getting rid of this tire, it's not enough. It's not enough. I mean, they already have everything set in motion, and now there's a different tire, and now you've got to try and adapt. And they will. I mean, the KTM will do it. I'm sure they're already trying to sort of adapt. But then, I mean, is Michelin going to change it again? Suddenly they're going to put the hard back again and then get rid of the soft, and now suddenly things don't work again. Incidentally, I never see people taking soft front tires. Never. So
I mean, Lorenzo wouldn't have had a career now. And that's probably why he retired now. He's like, well, if I've got to ride a hard front for the rest of my life, and that's where Quartararo's had to adapt. And this is where maybe where Vinales is struggling, because Vinales has typically been a softer front tire guy, and now it's like, well, but to run the pace these guys are, look, I mean, the harder front tires that Michelin offer now is still a softer compound. Let's not forget the medium that Quartararo is running is the soft from last year, as far as I know. But it is a case of, listen, it's not that old school where you put soft front, soft rear and go. And that, I think that's also where Jack Miller's struggling. Jack in the past always had his best performances where he took the gamble, put soft, and made it work. And that was going to be my next question to you. The championship now is kind of looking like a repeat of last year, just roles reversed, with Quartararo being the John Mir of last year, steady, consistent. Guys like Zarco throwing away points, Miller throwing away points, not looking like he's much of a contender now anymore. The only real contender looking like John Mir. Bagnaia looks a bit inconsistent. Martin's missed too much. I think he's going to still have some inconsistency. Brad touched upon it. Yes, it was brilliant to win my second race, but, not by luck. I mean, he took the risk, but we've got to prove it in every condition. Now, are they championship ready? Are they still missing something? We talked about, they need to get the setup. So, I mean, this is for Quartararo to lose now, surely.
Yeah, well, Quartararo, I mean, as we say, he was at Red Bull Ring, a track that sucks for Yamaha. It's truly awful for Yamaha, and he was still up there. Something catastrophic has to happen to Quartararo in order for him to lose the champion. And you got the guys coming through, and this is very bad news for the people behind Quartararo, the likes of the George Martins and them. Martinator, oh god, cringe. Martinator. It's like he's riding well, and I mean, give it to the guy. It's his rookie year. He's doing really, really well. Then you hear the commentators go, and there is Martin, and you go, oh man.
Don't say it. Say it.
But anyway,
sure he is.
Yeah, but Martinator is way too far behind to do anything. But he's up there, you know what I mean? And that's a big problem for the likes of Zarcos and the Millers and the Mears, because now there's these other kids, and the likes of Martin and Binder and all these guys getting stuck in that are not necessarily in the championship chase. They're doing Quartararo a favor, because the more they're up there, the less chance the others have of kind of getting involved. You know what I mean? And I think Quartararo is so strong right now. Also Marquez, same thing. Marquez is up there, so there's all these guys getting involved, and I do think it is bad news for the rivals, because I think Quartararo is still looking really strong. If he can do that at Red Bull, he's going to be really strong everywhere else. I just think Quartararo right now is not even just this year. I think next year, when Honda sorts itself out and Marquez is more back on form and all that, I think there's still going to be some rattling. You pointed out, and this is very true. I mean, Rossi's tactics used to work on the likes of Gibernau and Biaggi and all of that. Then he went up against Lorenzo and actually worked against Stoner too, but he went up against Lorenzo and all these guys and it stopped working. And as you said, same way the Marquez treatment isn't working anymore. He can't intimidate, he can't dominate, he can't bump, he can't do anything. I mean, they'll give it straight back to him. The likes of Martin, Binder, all these guys, they don't care. Sit behind them in qualifying. Sit behind me. So what? Stuff you. It's. I think Marquez is going to be good again next year. Honda will pick the bike up. His pace is already looking a lot better. They were doing a lot of stuff for. So they interviewed I think Simon Crayford interviewed one of the Honda mechanics. And basically, they're putting a whole lot of chassis and all kinds of things on Marquez's bike, and everyone else will just get on with it. You know what I mean? And I think they sort of admitted in a way that it's like, they sort of said, are you still developing bikes around sort of Marquez? And they did kind of say, well, Marquez is the fastest. So, they're developing a bike around Marquez. He's testing all the stuff. He's getting all the new stuff. They're putting everything into him. And everyone else must just wait. It's I don't blame Honda for that, but, yeah.
You know what I think is going to be maybe a bit of a handbrake for Fabio and very exciting for us at the same time is that the likes of Marc Marquez, and I hope Brad doesn't slip into the, let me think about championship mode now and take less risks. But there's guys like Marc Marquez, Jack Miller to an extent that are now like, okay, well, we're not going to win this title. Let's go gung-ho. And I think that's going to make it exciting, especially a Marc Marquez that's got nothing to lose. So Fabio is still going to have his work cut out. And I think there's still, when I saw the Vinales thing before the weekend, then I saw Petronas pulling out. And I just thought, who the hell keeps writing these scripts for MotoGP? Every weekend, we are kept on our toes and we're not left disappointed. Darren Binder going to MotoGP straight from Moto3. The beginning of the year, you never would have thought that. Now it's a distinct possibility. So there's so much still going on in MotoGP. I think anything can happen. Don, I want to actually bring this question up because it's a valid point. Don't you think Zarco's tumble was strange? Talking about Michelin tires, we used to see the Marc Marquez and then, tuck the front save, tuck the front. Not just Marc, a couple of riders. We are now seeing a Michelin just go, gone.
I am kind of looking at Marquez in particular. I mean, he did that front-end slide during the race where he lost it. And I don't know, and I'm not sure whether it's tires, I'm not sure whether it's the bike, or maybe, he's not as strong as he used to be. But we've seen a few of them now, especially the slow corners. Marquez used to catch those. Or at very least, he used to kind of hold it up until the last minute and then go down. And we don't see it anymore. The bike just goes down. He's on the floor. I mean, we saw the crash in the race. Marc was trying. I mean, the bike was on the floor and Marquez was still trying to pick it up. You know what I mean? But and I kind of wonder about that. Why is he not saving it like he used to be? And okay, Zarco, I don't know. I didn't think his crash was that strange. I mean, he fell. You watch him in practice, he falls like that all the time. I mean, every race he crashes, and it's always front end slide on the floor, slide along, tumble. You know what I mean? It was drizzling, it was getting cooler, so I think he just lost it. But I'm kind of wondering why Marquez is not saving it anymore. Is it physical condition? Is it a bit rusty, or is just the bike and the tires? Is it letting go that quickly? I wonder.
Okay, so a couple of people asking, can we talk to Daz after his test? Look, I'll try to get him, but you must understand he's gonna have to be very tight-lipped about the whole thing. I'm very keen to see the press release that comes out afterwards. They're going to be very tight-lipped with the whole thing. Someone else asking about Simon Crayford. I cannot wait to chat to Simon Crayford later this year. He'll tell us about his ride on the KTM, and we'll probably have a 4-hour chat next time around. Don, another point that I wanted to bring up, looking at my notes now that we've gone completely off track, but we've pretty much spoken about everything else. Raul Fernandez is an interesting one for me. The commentator spoke about it quite a lot. A 20-year-old signed to go to MotoGP, hasn't put one Instagram post up, hasn't been too excited. They spoke to him afterwards and he said, what were his words? This is more a KTM decision or something, not mine. Now, that just says to me that he looks and goes, well, I don't really want to go to MotoGP on a KTM that, you've got to really ride the balls off and have Brad to win on it. I'd rather go to a Petronas Yamaha where I can hop on and potentially be a Fabio. I just found that very interesting. And he basically said, I'm contracted to KTM. That's where they want me, and that's where I have to go. After that is another question. I mean, yes.
Do you know who he sounds like? Ralph Fernandez with all this, I'm not sure about it. You know exactly who he sounds like? Brad Binder 2 years ago. Do you remember? Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm sure we're safe to say it now, but I mean, at the time, it was sort of the press releases and all that kind of said, "Well, yeah, I'm very glad to go." But we kind of know behind the scenes, he was sort of saying, "Oh no, I want to win Moto2 first." You know what I mean? And now they also kind of just shoved him up into MotoGP, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and he didn't want to do it. Yeah, and now with that same Brad Binder 2 years ago, when asked should Darren jump straight from Moto3 into MotoGP, I think he probably 2 years ago would have said, no, go to Moto2 first, definitely. In fact, I think we did ask that question a while ago, and and I think he did say no, Moto2 first or something like that. Now he says no, you've got to take the opportunity. You know what I mean? And it's strange how that sort of changes. So I do think Raul is wrong. I mean, yeah, you want to win, but do it. You know what I mean? Go up, and once you're there, you've got your foot in the door. Lots of things can go wrong. The pinnacle of your career is MotoGP. Once you're there, even if the bike is shit and not performing, outride it. Just outride your teammates, outride everything, show everyone you're decent. And we said the same thing about Brad. I mean, when he first signed for KTM, remember how crap it was? They were going through, Joan Zarco was terminated his contract early and he was struggling. And we all thought, well, and I remember we said it then, he's got to go out and perform better than the bike should. And and I said in 2 years after that, he will get an offer on a decent ride. And well, it turns out the decent ride was KTM, and now he's got a 3, 4, whatever it is, 4-year contract. You know what I mean? And it happened exactly the way we said it. Go to MotoGP, show potential, and you can, greater things will come. I think the biggest problem with Raul in MotoGP is going to be for Brad and Miguel. I've got a feeling Raul is going to be pretty good. And they're going to want to move him up to the main seat, and it's going to be a bit of a competition between the two. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose their rides, but I think there's going to be a bit of competition there because of Raul. Or he'll just go up and be absolutely crap. The dude is 20 years old, they've been riding for 5 minutes. But anyway.
I look at it differently. I think KTM have gone, there might be some inside info there saying, well, Ducati are going to be booting a Jack Miller in 2023, making space for Raul. And KTM have gone, okay, well, if we're going to be losing you in 2 years' time, we're putting you in we're taking advantage of having you in MotoGP for a year, bugger you. And I think that could have kind of been the situation with Brad as well. I think they were, shit, you know what, we might lose this kid. Let's get him into MotoGP. He's good PR. He's good at developing a bike. He doesn't crash that much. Kind of a bit of Raul now, to be honest. Fast, doesn't crash a hell of a lot. He seems to develop quite well. Let's while we've got him under contract, let's get him, because the following year at factory Ducati could come calling, or factory Yamaha for, Morbidelli could not do well, and you never know with MotoGP. But let's cool. We've got him. Bugger you, mate. We're going to MotoGP. You're going to ride for us, and we're going to squeeze every ounce of orange out of you while we can.
Well, something interesting is everyone said he's moving across to Petronas. He's got an offer from Petronas. Petronas would have to buy out his contract with KTM. And I'm guessing they knew stuff that we didn't know because it didn't happen. And their Petronas is no longer Petronas. So that would kind of explain why he didn't go straight across to there. And I kind of wonder. No, I think Raul is wrong. He's not going to win a Moto2 title, but I think, we'll get your foot in the door. And 2 years from now, he's going to go look back and go, it was a great decision. I should have done it. I think if Darren takes it too, I do think 2 years from now, Darren will also go, right decision. Moto2 is a gamble. It's really a gamble. You can either do a Raul Fernandez, or you can do a Della Porta. I mean, it can go both ways. So if you've got a chance to go into the Premier class, take it. Figure it out when you get there.
I agree with you, Don. And I don't know if anyone else has something they'd like to talk about or us to talk about. I think that's pretty much done. I'm just going to, because it's a valid. It's a very valid point. It's a very valid point, Taste Brits here, mate. Brad won on slicks. And why not mention it again?
Brass balls, Brad Binder.
Okay, yeah. So some people actually making comments here. Impere Celabalo, I hope I said that right. Impere, is there a possibility? We saw Top Rack in the pits. Now, I made the comment on the MotoGP supporters page that that he's got very, very tied up Red Bull ties with Sofoglu and Red Bull Turkey. And then someone commented, I can't remember the guy that actually posted it, and he said, money changes everything. And then I looked at it and went, why would Top Rack? Okay, they went to go support Dennis Onchu because, they're all Turkish. They love each other. Sofoglu is the manager. But then he took his cap off in the pit, talking to Lynn Jarvis, and all of a sudden went from, no, MotoGP, I'm a World Superbike man too. Let me win the World Superbike title and maybe MotoGP. I mean, this is, coinciding with Vinales not being there. And so 2 points, Don, to end off the show. What did you make of that Razgadioglu being there? And secondly, what do you think is going to happen with Vinales? Are we going to see him for the rest of the year? Because let me quickly tell you my point, and the commentators brought it up. Yes, kick him out and put a Carl Crutchlow on the factory bike and a Jake Dixon on the Petronas bike and potentially not score the same points that Maverick Vinales can. Going into this weekend, Monster Energy and Yamaha with a top team, Yamaha with the top constructors. So they've got to look at this and go, okay, it's not just a simple case of booting Maverick. We want constructors. We want team. Are we going to get that job done without a Franco now, without a Maverick, and with a Cal and a Jake Dixon? Or do we say, okay, you know what, he's gone at the end of the year, let's try suck up whatever bit of skill and result he's got left in him to go for this constructors title?
Okay, first of all, I'm sort of thinking it from Yamaha's point of view. Similar kind of thing to hiring Darren is hiring Top Rack. Again, you don't know. So you can either go safe and take a Dixon or one of those guys from Moto2, but you kind of know they're not going to manage. At least when you take a Darren Binder or a Top Rack, what's it? Russ Gutley or Superglue something.
Yeah.
Someone says Ratata Superglue. So I call it Top Cat Ratata Superglue. That was what some people. But you take someone like that and they might be good. So instead of taking someone you pretty much know is not going to be good, you take someone who might be good. And that's what I kind of think. And whether Top Rack wants to go for it or not, I don't know. But he is also in danger of, Johnny Ray syndrome, where you kind of spend too much time on World Superbikes and no one wants you.
Opportunity's gone.
So, foot in the door. Same as Darren Binder, same as all these guys. Hey, foot's in the door. You get offered a ride in MotoGP, you take it. I mean, there's a lot of Acosta's coming. There's Raul Fernandez is coming. There's all these lighties on their way up. Buddy, take it. Take the ride. Get on a B-spec bike. And, I mean, just like with Brad getting onto the KTM, ride the hell out of that bike, be further up than you should have been, and then you get a works ride. That's how it works. And if you want to be a MotoGP rider, do it. Do it. I mean, take the chance. Don't do or alternatively, stay in World Superbikes and become 23 times world champion like Johnny Ray did. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say that's not a terrible route. It's not terrible. I mean, you go down in history as something great.
There'll always be the what if. Johnny Ray's got what if. I mean, he is Mr. Superbike, but there's what if.
Yeah, but there is what if. But he could do a Ben Spies also and go to MotoGP, have a few little highlights, and then do bugger all, disappear. Anyone remember Ben Spies? He could have stayed at World Superbikes and become 23 times world champion. He took a chance and it didn't work out. So, it's what are your ambitions? That's kind of it. I think if Top Rack, conservatively stay in World Superbikes, because Top Rack's an exciting rider. He's a great rider. I don't think he's Marc Marquez and Quartararo and former Ross. I don't think he's quite that good, if you know what I mean. I do.
I don't know.
I think maybe a Cal Crutchlow, you know what I mean? I think he'll do okay. I think he'll do well. He might even get some race wins. He might get some podiums, a bunch of top fives. I don't think he's the next greatest rider that has ever lived. How old is he, by the way? I don't even know.
Top Rack must be 24. I mean, Top Rack raced against Doran Loureiro and Byron Bester in that the Honda Cup they used to have years ago. So he really has taken the bull by the horns, excuse the pun, and made it work. But yeah, I think he'll have to change his riding style. Like Simon Crayford said when we spoke to him, he cannot be that aggressive on a MotoGP bike. He will get destroyed. But yeah, I think he's got potentially what it takes. Like Stephen Berry said there, get him in there. He's going to take a year or two experience.
You will.
And build up and developing. Okay, so now moving on to the Maverick situation in Yamaha. Do they boot him? And another situation that's thrown up here. Let's say Darren tests on Tuesday, is stupid fast on the R1. They're talking about Jake Dixon going for the rest of the year. Do they say, you know what, Moto3 was fun, but we're putting you on the MotoGP bike for the rest of the year? Get him ready for it?
No, I don't think they'll do that. But Darren's still... Remember, he's still got a whole team in Moto3. And it's not just a case of, we'll just move that rider. I mean, there's a whole team, a whole pit crew, a whole everything. You can't just chuck it out. You know what I mean? It doesn't quite work like that. So I think Darren needs to stick out this year in Moto3, get some really good races in. Maybe.
But you say that they're going to potentially do that with Dixon.
Yeah, but Dixon's being crap. Where is he? You know what I mean?
No,
I don't think they'll do that either. I don't think they'll move him either.
You don't think so? What are their options then? You know what? Well, the option is Maverick stays in the factory team and Carl finishes.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep Maverick. I think the Maverick is going to want to carry on riding. I don't think he wants to take the rest of the year off. He's a racer. The dude's a racer. He wants to win. He wants to get on a bike and win races. Even if it's a bit screwed up now and the championships kind of disappeared, the dude still wants to race. He still wants to win. And I think that's going to take more of a preference than any kind of, Yamaha this and, Sulco, but, have a bit of a strop. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Maverick Vinales will get back on the bike. He'll have a couple of strops, but he'll also have some really good races, and they should just stick to that. Hey, sit everyone down. Hey, look, we've got a rest of the year. Let's make the best of it. I think Maverick would agree with that. Yamaha would agree with that. Go and do that. And then keep Cal Crutchlow on the Petronas bike for as long as necessary. I think it's more of a risk to move Dixons and Binders and everybody around. That's going to cause more damage than anything else. So yeah, I think Maverick and Yamaha need to sit down, right? Adult conversation. Let's get this year over with. Let's part on good terms. Let's make the best of it, and it's the best for both parties. That's what they should do.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that is what's going to happen. I would like to think that maybe, Dixon, you go to MotoGP, Daz gets that little half of a year shot in Moto2 would be a nice thing. Daz gets the rest of this year in MotoGP ready for next year. That would be a nice thing. I don't think it's going to happen. Like you said, I think it'll be, listen, try and win Moto3 races for us. We've got to answer to Honda in Moto3. We've got to still answer to Petronas and sponsors. So yeah, we've still got to keep that up. So yeah, I think you're right. I think what you said. I think Maverick will finish the year. I think Yamaha are desperate to squeeze whatever he's got left in him to get the job done. I think he's made his own name toss by doing what he did. So Yamaha firing him, what is really going to benefit? Everyone hates him now. Aprilia are getting him. We're paying him the money anyway. Come and try and get some points for us in the overall picture for the rest of the year.
Exactly. I mean, recuperate your name. I mean, if Maverick gets on and just gets on with the job and Yamaha gets on with the job, maybe he takes a bunch of race wins, and then by the end of the year, we've all forgotten about some incident at Red Bull Ring. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, what they should be going for. Whether they're going to do that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Yamaha and Lynn Jarvis and then will sit him down and say, okay. Because I'd rather have Maverick Vinales do, on a bit of a bad day than Jake Dixon circulating at the back of the grid. You know what I mean? And potentially writing himself and the bike off. It just makes more sense.
Well, I just think Cal Crutchlow showed it. I mean, if a guy like Cal Crutchlow is finishing last with all of his years' experience, what is a Jake Dixon going to do? So yeah, I agree with you. Stephen Berry makes a good point. Let's bring it up. Luca Marini, Ika Lackawanna, they were also out on slicks. Rossi was out on slicks. All the other guys. Yeah, Brad did a phenomenal job, but there were some really good results there. Luca Marini to finish in 5th, also make the decision to stay out there, chance it. There were some really good rides. Ika Lackawanna, he was also on for a podium at one stage when he passed Rossi. I hated him. Then I started thinking, okay, well, it would be nice for him to get a podium, because I do feel for the guy in this situation. There's talk he's going to go to World Superbike Honda. I do think in some ways he's done enough keep a MotoGP ride. But I was actually talking to my father-in-law about the whole situation now, and I said, I don't want Darren to do an Ica where he shows he's fast enough, but the MotoGP teams and bosses look bigger than the how fast you are. They look, how often does he crash? How often does he crash when he's in good points positions? We know how fast he is. Lackawona's detriment has been. We know how fast you are, and Hervé Ponchal has said it. I know how fast you are, but just there's got to be a point where you say, for God's sake, just finish races. Take 15, take 40. And that is what's been his detriment, not necessarily speed. And he proved again. I mean, at one point in the dry part of the race, he was passing Marquez's and Brad's, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting times. I mean, we remember we used to, when we first started this thing, we used to do that thing where we said, okay, so Silverstone's coming up next week, 2 weeks' time, who's going to win?
Mm.
We stopped doing that. Have you noticed? Because it's such a tough question. I have no idea.
Well, Fabio is probably the only name you could cast in stone, which is, again, a big kudos to him, because he's the only guy that you're going to go, well, he's going to be top 5 minimum. He's going to be top 3 minimum.
Yeah, I would put money on. I mean, for the rest of the year, I would put money on Quartararo. I mean, if you told me to bet on one rider for the rest of the year, it would be Quartararo.
Definitely.
So I think, especially Silverstone, I think it's going to kind of suit the Yamaha. It's got a lot of kind of curvy, fast corners, flowing corners. I think that could suit the Yamaha a bit. But yeah, let's see. It's going to be interesting. 2 weeks from now. Oof. And also, the first time at Silverstone on a MotoGP bike. It's a bunch of guys' first time at Moto, give them a bit of time to catch up.
And that's not an easy place. It's bumpy. It's a really hard track. Everyone I've spoken to about that track, it is really, really a tough one. So yeah, let's wait and see. Edwin Norris and Aya's retirement. Where did my piece of bike go? Yeah, never seen that before. Fairing go flying off. That would be such a lack of momentum. Pick that up and run away with it. But yeah, Don, I think we've touched upon everything. Brad good balls. Brad can ride a bike.
Sorry, I meant to pull this out earlier. How cool is that?
Why are COVID numbers so high?
Never mind that. Who cares? Look at that guy over there. Look at that guy. You see that? I should have pulled this out earlier. I forgot about it.
You know what I love? You know what I loved about that, and my father-in-law actually said it as well. He turned on the radio, went to work this morning, and normally when the Springboks win, nothing else matters because there we go, slick ride by Binder, nice, well done.
Hell yeah.
And this morning it was because I love the Boks. They're the only ones really still doing thing. I love the Boks, I really do. But this time it was like the Springboks won the rugby, and by the way, Brad Binder. I mean, Brad broke the internet again. Let's be honest. The man destroyed the internet. Yeah.
I mean, I love it when he's on kind of like mainstream media South Africa. It's just, it's a good feeling. We don't get that. It's this cricket player, that rugby player, some soccer team beats others. So it's all boring. No one cares. It's all people running around a field. It's pointless. We stopped doing that in primary school. You know what I mean? And now we're seeing like proper kind of racing where you see like Brad Binder and MotoGP, and people are going, oh, MotoGP. And I'm seeing it a lot more now when I mention kind of bike racing to people who have no idea. And I'll say things like, oh, yeah, a South African one. Oh, that Binder guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mainstream.
It's normally just the surname. Yeah, that Binder. Yeah, Binder. Not Brad Binder. Binder. It's a good start. But John, it is. I agree with you. I think it's brilliant that South African media blew it up. I think, Brad said at the end there, the amount of support that he gets is fantastic. And again, to all those naysayers that 3 races ago were saying, is he good enough for MotoGP? Just forget about it, man. Let his motorbike on a Sunday. Criticize him on a Sunday. But listen, complain about grip in the dry ever again after this weekend.
Oh, it's awesome.
It was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. Everybody, thank you so much. We had brilliant viewership tonight. Over 300, majority of the time, went up to almost close on 800. Thank you so much for supporting. I hope you enjoyed the little Brad skit. I know it was quick, but for the guy to take his time out and quickly give us a little insight there was amazing. I thank you all once again for all the support. Without you, none of this would be possible. Me and Don would just be talking to ourselves on a Monday night. So yeah, look forward to in 2 weeks' time post Silverstone. Until then, enjoy the rest of the week. Please stay safe. Subscribe to Motor Rider World. Please support me. Give me your money. It's my daughter's birthday. 3-year-old birthday tomorrow. I need to buy her lots of presents, so please give me your money. That would be fantastic. I need to put petrol in my car. It's 18 rand something now a litre, so give me your money there. I need to buy myself new shoes. I've got holes in my undies, so give me your money there. Don, what do you need money for?
I need to feed my dogs. My little bulldog and my little half Labrador, half idiot. They need to be fed. So support the Bulldogs. We'll go to our YouTube channel and watch the stuff there. In fact, watch it a bunch of times. Just like watch it 15 times each video. Leave it on and repeat on background. Okay, come on, guys, let's do that. Maybe you can turn on to channel 189 Ignition. Go watch the bike show there. Go to the website. Go everywhere. Come on, people, do it. Dogs.
Kids
and dogs.
Don, thanks so much, man. I know it was long and tedious, but thanks for sticking it out. And yeah, get started with that 45,000-page Rossi piece, please.
No problem.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe, and until next time, we'll see you later. Ciao.
Me.